Are we good to go? Okay. Finding you good? We're good? Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. It is 6:33 p.m. on Thursday, June 13th, 2024, and I call to order this general meeting of the Intermediate District 287 School Board. As always, our first item on the agenda is the reading of the mission statement to ground our work together this evening. As board chair, I failed to ask somebody to do it until this very moment, so it's going to be me tonight. The mission of Intermediate District 287 is to be the premier provider of innovative specialized services to ensure that each member district can meet the unique learning needs of its students. And now we will do board member introductions. You'd be willing to start us off?
Jackie Mosqueda Jones, District 279, Osseo Area Schools.
Even I'm Michael Bergman. I represent Edina Public Schools.
Dan Ginestra, Wayzata Public Schools.
Kim Ross, Eden Prairie Public Schools.
Renee Bowman, Robbinsdale Area Schools.
I'm Karen Arquette from Oronel Schools.
I'm Mike Ramacall from Minnetonka Schools.
I'm Heidi Marty with West Lucas.
Ruthie Dallas, Brooklyn Center Community Schools.
And Casey, proudly representing St. Louis Park.
And I'm Crystal Brackey from Richfield Public Schools. Thanks so much to everybody who is here tonight, to the staff who are with us in the boardroom, and to any of our loyal viewers who are with us online. Next up is approval of the general meeting agenda. We don't have any changes to the agenda for tonight, so I could entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion by Ruthie Dawes and a second by Dan Ginestra. Any comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye and the agenda is approved. Next, we have open forum for community comments, and I don't believe anybody has asked for time with the board this evening. Thank you. So we move on to approval of the consent agenda containing routine business items that we approve as a slate, unless there is an item that a board member requests be removed for individual consideration. Being nothing, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Second.
We have a motion by Jackie Mosqueda Jones and a second by Heidi Marty. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye and the consent agenda is approved. So we are going to move right into share the success and recognitions. And first up is the 2024 graduation video.
Madam Chair, while wanting this getting organized, I just have to do a shout out to Rachel Prost, our communications specialist, who put the video, was at all the graduations and put the video together.
Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned. These tears, they burn. I shake and turn. I learned and earned this acceptance. Rise with experience and wish you all the best. Stay proud because we did it. We made it this far. We knew we could achieve this. You can't tell me no different. I stand here today and somehow I still can't believe it. What we have accomplished. We took a stand to what they say, the feelings of fulfillment. You can never take it away. I am proud. You should be proud. We're all proud. 2024, we have graduated. So let's take the world in our hands and shape it. Class of 2024.
Please share our appreciation with Rachel. It was so great. I said right before the meeting started, I think this is the first time in my years on the 287 board that I wasn't able to go to a single graduation because I was out of state. And so this just made me feel a little bit more like I was there. So thank you. Is there anything related to graduation that board members who were able to attend a ceremony or more would like to share? Michael.
I would just say, as I said, when I was at the two different ceremonies that I was able to go to, they are by far my favorite graduation ceremonies, as much as Edina's large, huge, ridiculous one in Mariucci Arena. The ones at 287 are the most personal, are the most gratifying. The staff does such an amazing job of personalizing each student for the things that they've done or whatever it is. And it's such a great representation of our mission from that standpoint. So for any of you who have not had the privilege or taken the opportunity to do this, I highly recommend, if you are on the board, that you try to find an opportunity to do so, because you really do get to see some amazing things. So congrats to the whole team.
I would just echo that and also say that the student participation was really great. The poem that you heard in the video was really cool, and the other that I was able to go to, one of the student speakers, was really awesome. And so that was a really cool part of it, along with, I agree with you about the personalization. It's amazing.
Thank you. We are going to move on to our one other item and share the success and recognitions, which is an above and beyond recipient. So I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Deb.
Sounds good. Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, as you know, we do the Above and Beyond Award for staff that go above and beyond in the area around the strategic plan. And this Above and Beyond winner is from West Education Center. Her name is Lynn Goggin, and she is the school nurse. Lynn actually retired at the end of this year, so it was a good celebration and a parting gift to be acknowledged. She is nominated for her trauma responsive and healing centered practices, and she's part of the employee well-being team. What her staff wrote about her is that Lynn is warm, kind, an invested school nurse who leads by example. She is inclusive, affirming, and encouraging. She advocates for each individual student's needs. She cares for all as if they are her own. She's curious. She asks hard questions. She always exhibits a desire to learn more. She is our go-to first aid, emergency response, daily meds, empathetic space for students who are homesick or struggling with the day-to-day of being a teenager. But Lynn is more than a Band-Aid or ice pack for our staff and our students. She is a critical member of the incident command team and part of our health and safety team. Lynn serves on the West Education Wellness team and is always ready to support ideas and events that boost staff physical and mental health, wellness, and morale in the building. She's an amazing nurse, professional, and goes above and beyond in her career. We congratulate Lynn on the award as well as retirement.
Nurses are heroes, and I feel like school nurses are special.
May I ask a question? There was a report in the Star Tribune today about nurses in schools. And how only 49% of public schools in Minnesota actually have a nurse on site. I'm assuming in 287, we actually do have one on each site. And how important that is for not only our members, school districts, but also for 287 that we have that. So just a timely article about that, and the need for that, and especially outstate districts have a significant access issue for that.
In our 4 main sites, we have licensed school nurses. And as you know, we serve students with can have significant medical needs. And so for us, that is really critical that we have highly qualified licensed nurses on our staff. But they are hard to find.
Okay, we are gonna move to the next agenda item, which this evening is in the Business Services and Labor Relations Report section of the agenda, specifically financial report. And so I'm gonna invite up Sarah Schreifel, our food service manager, who is going to provide an overview of the food services program for the 2023-2024 school year. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Well, good evening. As she mentioned, my name is Sarah. I'm the food service manager for the district. I'm happy to be here this evening to share with you some of the food service highlights from this school year. Okay. So this year, our 4 main sites qualified to operate under the USDA Community Eligibility Provision, or CEP. In the past, North Education Center had qualified for many years, but this year the other 3 sites were able to join them. USDA and MDE worked together to start qualifying students under direct certification for Medicaid, which increased our direct certification rate significantly. So that really helped get these programs into the CEP program as well. Our care and treatment site, Ewable, operated under the Minnesota Free Meals for Kids program this year, which is partly funded by the state, but now qualified to begin operating under CEP for next school year. So all 4 of our sites will be operating under that CEP program next year. With meals free for all students this year, we were expecting to see a meal participation increase, and we're happy to see that occur with a 21% increase at breakfast and a 23% increase at lunch, kind of across the district on average. Getting rid of the stigma surrounding free and reduced lunch eligibilities and meal debt was a very welcome change that we are happy to continue. The Minnesota Department of Agriculture awarded us a $4,000 farm to school grant, which we used to purchase local Minnesota beef, turkey, apples, watermelons, strawberries, cucumbers, and lettuce, mostly throughout the fall, because of course, Minnesota produce isn't available very long. But local Minnesota items were highlighted on our menus and signage was posted when it was served, so students were aware of exactly which farms in Minnesota the products came from. As part of Farm to School, in October, we hosted our first Great Apple Crunch with the elementary students at North Education Center. Our lead cook, Cheryl Johnson, led the event for us. To promote the district's literacy initiative, the book, The Life Cycle of an Apple, was read and discussed. Students had the opportunity to use safety knives to help us chop apples to make a special treat for the school. And they crunched into Minnesota-grown apples all at the same time to make the loudest crunch. I think Marcy was there, so she can probably attest to that. The students had a great time chopping and learning about apples, and it was a good way to promote our farm to school. And of course, the very next day, the entire school was treated to homemade apple crisp. A big thank you to all the volunteers that help with that. Every time we ask for volunteers here, we get tons of people that want to help us, so it's amazing. In February, again to promote literacy, the food service hosted a readathon for elementary classrooms at NEC and SEC. Students read books to meet a set goal. They wrote short reports or drew pictures of the books that they read. Students who met the goal were rewarded with a create your own pizza party, as well as ribbons and medals. To highlight Black History Month, Black History short stories were also available in the lunchroom for students to read and use towards their reading goals. Weekly prizes were awarded to students and classrooms who read the most books to keep them motivated towards the final goal. 378 books were read during the readathon, and the students were very proud of the ribbons and medals that they were awarded. There were several students that wore the medals to school for like 2 to 3 weeks after they got them. So it was really cool to see how excited they were about it. So we were thrilled to be a part of it and thrilled to see kids excited to read for pizza, apparently. National School Breakfast Week was celebrated with the release of a new breakfast seasonal menu with lots of new breakfast items that included chocolate chip waffles, scrambled eggs, egg and cheese stuffed hash browns, and smoothies. To celebrate, students were treated to a build your own breakfast banana split made with yogurt. Again, a big thank you to volunteers. I think Marcy attended all of our events this year. She was always my first volunteer to sign up too. This past fall, we were able to install a walk-in freezer at South Education Center due to a $25,000 USDA equipment grant that we received. We have had a freezer shortage since COVID times, so it's been great to have that. It has improved efficiency at the site and allowed us to offer more variety at mealtimes. At the end of April, USDA released the final rule on meal standards, which updates current meal standards to include restrictions on added sugars and additional cuts to sodium in school meals over the next several years. The timeline posted below shows the timeline for implementation. There's also a 1.5-minute video that USDA put together that explains things better than I could. So I'm going to have Winnie show that for us now.
Schools provide some of the healthiest meals that kids eat, which play an important role in providing the nutrition they need to grow and learn. And school meals are about to get even better. We know you want the best for our nation's children, and USDA is investing in school meals to make them even healthier. Over the next several years, there will be gradual changes to school meals. While no new changes are required in 2024, it will be easier for schools to offer nutrient-rich breakfast foods like yogurt, eggs, tofu, and nuts and seeds, which all help reduce sugary options and support vegetarian diets and other preferences. By fall 2025, we start reducing added sugars for certain foods. Kids will still see their favorites, but they'll be more wholesome. Schools can still offer flavored milk with lower amounts of added sugars. By the fall of 2027, on average, no more than 10% of the weekly calories will be from added sugars. And sodium will be a little lower in breakfast and lunch. The USDA is prioritizing nutrition. With the changes happening gradually, everyone has time to adjust. And healthier food will help kids become more successful in and out of the classroom. School meals will be more nutritious and delicious. To find out more, visit fns.usda.gov.
Okay, and then this summer, we will be providing free breakfast and lunch at all sites from July 10th through the 26th, which aligns with our ESY schedule. Community youth 18 and under are invited to participate in free meals at any of those sites during that time. And that's all I really have for tonight. Thank you for your time and continued support of the Food Service Department. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thanks so much, Sarah. You always do such a great job. highlighting the work that you and your team do. It's
Thanks.
always really fun to see the different things. And I also enjoyed reading for. So I am glad that this is probably a much healthier option. That's great. Are there any comments or questions for Sarah?
Just along those lines, like so excited to see the alignment with the literacy goals. That's just, you know, it just shows our strategic plan throughout every part of the organization. That's fantastic.
That's our goal.
Great report,
Yeah.
and I'm just glad to see the walk-in freezer. Never seen it inside, so.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah.
We are going to move right into a related item, which is our annual food service program resolution. I was gonna ask for that too. I'll do it. So Brian Schultz, sorry for some behind the scenes stuff here. Our Executive Director of Business Services and Operations will present the annual food service resolution, including changes in meal prices that we will be asked to approve.
Thank you, Chair Rocky, board members, Superintendent Dowd. Yeah, we're just bringing the annual food service resolution, which is authorizing the food service program for next school year, fiscal 24-25. And again, setting the meal prices. Currently, we're leaving the prices the same. And this is for adult prices and extra purchases, right? All students will get a free breakfast and lunch meal as part of the program. But this sets it, but I think it's July is when the USDA comes out with the required minimums for purchase meals. So that's where we put in the $4.95 or the USDA minimum if it's higher than that. We don't anticipate that. So we anticipate the meal prices being the same as they were in the prior year. With that, I just ask for approval of the resolution this evening.
Pretty straightforward, and I'll just again reiterate, one of the things that's on the resolution is that it is required for federal funding. So it's a very important
Yep.
annual action item. Are there any questions or comments about the resolution? I don't see any, so we could entertain a motion to waive the reading and approve the resolution as presented.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Michael Birdman and a second by Mike Remicall. Any further discussion? Since this is a resolution, our vice chair is going to pull the board.
Birdman,
Aye.
Almond,
Yes.
Becky,
Aye.
Casey is an aye. Dallas,
Yes,
Janestra,
Aye.
Hardy.
Aye.
Mosquito Jones,
Yes.
Orcutt,
yes.
Remicall.
Aye.
And Ross.
Aye.
And the resolution passes. Thank you so much to both of you for
Thank
your
you.
work and for being with us tonight. We move next to the Human Resources Report. I'm going to invite Kevin Witherspoon, our Director of Human Resources, who will present and recommend the approval of the 2023-2025 Intermediate 287 Principal Association Tentative Agreement.
Well, good evening, Chair Brecky, members of the board, Superintendent Dowd. I'm pleased to be seeking your approval of the tentative agreement with our Intermediate Principals Association. I would first like to thank the negotiating teams for their collaboration in the process. We did interest-based bargaining, so it's a longer process than typical, and I think it actually went very well. So I'm very pleased. District 287 and the Intermediate Principal Association have reached a tentative agreement for the very first contract of 2023 through 2025. The association members voted to approve the TA last week. I will discuss some TA highlights to provide further context. The tentative agreement includes a 2% increase the first year and a 2.28% increase on salary schedule for the second year of the contract, with a total compensation package of 8.5%. That includes increase in TSA based on a tiered format based on years of service in the district, up to $4,500. We changed to 251 days with 20 vacation days. It's 10 less than what they typically had right now. A salary range of a starting range of 117,000 to 139,041 for APs by the end of the second year, and a range of 137,000 to 162,809 for principals at the end of the second year of the contract, which aligns us much better with our member districts and partner intermediates. We also included career increments for those that are with the district more than 10 years. And some language highlights include progressive discipline, which is part of every contract, a grievance procedure, language regarding transfers and assignments, and a memorandum of understanding regarding performance pay tied to student achievement or student outcomes and the strategic plan. Administration recommends approval of the tentative agreement.
Thank you, Kevin. Questions or comments? Okay, I don't think there are any, but I know I speak on behalf of all of us when I say thank you for your work. Especially this being the inaugural contract with our Principals Association. And to our principals and assistant principals, a huge thank you for working with us in this process. And I know I personally am really excited to have this in place. So thank you to everyone involved. With that, we could entertain a motion to approve the tentative agreement as presented.
So. Second.
We have a motion by Kim Ross and a second by Ruthie Dallas. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It does not say resolution on the agenda.
But it should be, I'm so.
Okay, that's all right. We're gonna go back and we're just gonna do this one by one.
It should be resolution. Yep, sorry.
Okay. Great. All right, so let's rewind. The motion was Kim and the second was Ruthie. So if you would be willing to amend the motion to approve the resolution and waive the reading. Are you willing to do that?
So moved. Second.
Great, thank you. And we'll pull the board.
I'll go the other way this time. Ross,
Aye.
Graham McCall,
Aye.
Orcutt,
Aye.
Mosqueda Jones,
Aye.
Hardy, Sinestra,
Aye.
Dallas,
Aye.
Hastings, aye, Brackey,
Aye.
Bowman,
Aye.
Birdman.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you so much. The resolution is approved. Congratulations to all.
Thank you.
We move to board business. There is one item for requested action in the chair report, which is around annual organizational memberships. So there was a list of the organizational memberships provided in the board packet. Superintendent Dowd, is there anything that you would like to share as far as context on the organizational memberships and what we are being recommended?
So these are memberships that the board would recommend that the district participate in. We do have a history of participating in AESA, AMSD, Brightworks, which is formerly Metro XU, MSBA. Last year, the board did not choose to have an annual membership with NSBA. We did put it back on this as an annual option for conversation and decision.
Thank you so much. So I think it would be great to have some discussion whether or not people would like to continue in the practice of last year, which is all of the memberships with the exception of National School Boards Association, which for your reference is an annual membership fee of $2,492 for this coming year, or whether people think we should reconsider having NSBA be a annual membership moving forward. So certainly open for thoughts and discussion before we proceed. You have a good thinking
We have
face.
to make a motion before we discuss.
Do we? No?
Yeah. Yes.
Great. Sorry about
Sorry.
that. Is there a motion to approve as presented?
Want to discuss again.
That's, we are making the motion so that we can discuss it.
Oh,
I also was in your camp, Ruthie. I thought we would discuss it first.
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second. Thank you. We have a motion by Michael Birdman and a second by Jackie Mosqueda Jones to approve the memberships as presented. Now we will open it up for discussion.
So did it cause us any hardship not being in it this year? From a superintendent's perspective, no. From a board perspective, it is.
I remember when we discussed this last year, we chose not to move forward with and renew our membership because the money number that it was, but then the benefit that we could see us using it for wasn't readily apparent. And so this is why I think the board last year, for those of you who were not on at that time, opted to not.
Yeah.
So I think really it's the question of, has anything changed, and spending the almost $2,500, what do we get for doing so? I think the other ones that we have listed here, I think are solid. No question, those are all very valuable, but I don't think that there was any strong feeling that NSBA was giving us an additional value for this particular district.
Yeah, and I think particularly because MSBA is no longer a member of NSBA. So it seems.
Yeah.
Incongruous.
Dan, go ahead.
And am I correct in saying that the membership fees for NSBA greatly exceed the other ones?
We don't know. It is the Minnesota School Board Association is the most significant by far. Then our membership to the Association of Metropolitan School Districts is the next, and then it's the National School Board Association.
And we're talking about the monetary cost of fees.
Yes, that's correct. So the National School Board Association is right around $2,500.
And that's the highest.
It's not the highest. The highest is the Minnesota School Board Association. It is lower than the Minnesota School Board Organization and AMSD. It is higher than the other Minnesota organizations that we're a part of, like the Cooperative Service Unit and the Association of Educational Services Agencies. And the Minnesota Association of School Administrators are all lower cost.
Well, I'm for keeping NSBA in the loop. And the reason why is that as I became a new board member, it offered quite a bit from the national perspective. And I think sometimes we get caught up in local type agenda as far as what the other organizations can bring forth. And I think we also have the opportunity to share what we're doing in Minnesota with other states. And it's so helpful to hear what other states are doing and other representation. And I feel it's added plus to that. It's opposed to staying within just a state level type organization. And so far, the ones I've been to, I went to several, and they were very helpful, and especially connecting and interacting with others from all over the country as far as what they're doing. And I think Minnesota has a lot to offer. So not only we go to learn from others, but what we can share and give to others.
And you're referencing the annual conference specifically, is that right?
Yeah.
Because I think we could still have people go to the annual conference without being a member as well.
And what
The
did we
cost is
get for the
different.
membership?
Right, I think that's a great question. What does this $2,500 of membership provide? Does anybody know the answer to that question?
How many districts are members of NSBA?
I don't know.
I don't know of any, we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we have outstanding questions, could we just table this for? Do we have to make a decision because there a deadline for membership?
One thing we could do is to specifically table the National School Board Association part of it to collect more information while we renew the others, that I think there seems to be pretty clear agreement, like we understand and see the benefit of. Is that?
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
question that would help, but isn't that.
That's
that
fine.
question, and it's, do we have a budget for, like a line item for the board? And is this part of it? And is there capacity in that budget? Like what implications? I mean, it's not a lot of money, but in the context of a board budget, it could be, I just don't know what our capacity is.
Yes, there is a line item in the budget, which is typical for all districts that, and the ones we're talking about are similar in member districts. I would have to look, I was just gonna look up what the annual budget is in the boards, but right, $2,500 isn't one way or the other, isn't gonna hurt the district's budget. So if that's something the board felt was advantageous to the board to be a member of, that would be we would be able to fit that within the district.
Bylaws indicate, for MSBA, we pay for people to attend. For the national, we are very limited. And rotation, because we would not have enough funds to spend. To attend the national conference.
Whether or not we were a member,
Correct.
regardless. Okay.
And we have not had anybody attend the national conference on behalf of 287 in a very long time. At least I think as far as
I
I've
think
been.
I attended one.
Did you? Through 287 specifically?
so
Okay. Okay. Steve Adams might
the
have as
others
well,
were in
actually.
my district.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was a few years ago.
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
I have no problem amending the motion to approve all the other associated memberships, table the NSBA until next time with where we can have more information and discussion related.
Thank you. Michael Bergman has amended the motion. Were you the second, Ruthie? Are you willing to second the amended motion? Second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was confused
Second
again.
motion.
I mean, I'm honored that you confused me. She's amazing, but yeah, okay, I second it. Great, so we have an amended motion to approve all of the organizations with the exception of the National School Board Association, which we are going to table to collect more information and revisit at a future meeting. Any final discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye and the motion passes. Thanks for sticking with me. I don't usually have to do too many like funky parliamentarian things in these meetings. I'm out of practice. The next item is just a couple of scheduling things that I want to make sure folks are aware of before we get to once around the table. We have the last Get on the Bus of the school year coming up next week on June 18th to West Suburban Summer School. So again, final call to let Juanita know if you and or folks from your district are able to attend that Get on the Bus. On Thursday, June 27th, which is our last meeting until the end of August, actually, we have our board retreat and we have a board meeting. Juanita, can you remind me what time the retreat starts? 4:30. 4:30 for the retreat, the 27th of June. Yep. So those are the next big dates for us here in the next few weeks. So with that, let's move to once around the table, which is the time for board members to share information with one another. Well, I'll share something I'm really excited about, which is that Marcy and I are going to go back to my old stomping grounds, the Richfield School Board meeting on Monday, the 24th, to present about intermediate 287 and the great work that's happening here. So I appreciate that. I think part of the inspiration was hearing about how wonderful it was when Marcy did that with the Edina School Board. And so the Richfield Board had asked for us to do the same. So we'll be excited to hear more about that afterwards. I was gonna say, I'm ready for you. Go ahead.
Well, I have to clear my throat because I can't even believe that I get to say this, okay? We have made an offer to Dr. Terry Stallo to come on as the superintendent of Robbinsdale area schools. And we are just, we did it on a 7-0 vote, which
That's tough.
well,
For you guys.
I was sort of amazed at, when they interviewed you in the press the next morning, I couldn't sort of hide my giddiness at my age, I was like, I couldn't believe it, right? So, I'm working with the lawyers with the contract and we're doing all of that kind of stuff, but it does look as though she will start on, July 1. If anyone knows Dr. Stallo, they know that Dr. Stallo has really already started, okay? She's already putting time in. So, I think it's been a while, but I know the school board members themselves are feeling a sense of hope. And boy, oh boy, it couldn't come at a better time. We're really very happy. So on top of the 1,000 kids we graduated this year from our collective programs, we got a superintendent. So yay, Robbinsdale.
Congratulations.
Thank
So,
you.
so happy for all of you and your district and all of the communities that you represent.
Yes, for everybody. Yeah, it's a joyous day in Robbinsdale.
Anything else? Okay, so with that, we are going to transition to our closed session this evening. So to anybody who's watching, this will be the last thing that we do as a board is our closed session discussion. So the video feed will end here shortly. The closed session is for the purpose of the annual superintendent evaluation. It is one of the things that we can do in closed session as a board, but know that one of the requirements is that I present a summary of the evaluation at our next public board meeting. So on June 27th, I will do a public summary of the closed session evaluation that we are about to conduct. So I'm going to read the official language to make sure that we get it all correct and on the record. Pursuant to Minnesota statutes, section 13D.05, subdivision 3D, to evaluate the performance of the superintendent, the board chair or designee shall prepare a summary of the meeting and present it at the board's next regular meeting. Is there a motion to move into closed session pursuant to Minnesota statutes 13D.05, subdivision 3D?
So moved.
We have a motion by Karen Orcutt and a second by Heidi Marty. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Bye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye. At 7:13, we are going to transition to closed session. Thank you, everyone, for